Hey everyone, welcome to today's video. Welcome to the Gamey Daddy channel. Thank you so much for tuning in. So today I'm going to give you guys a 50-hour impression of Far Cry 6. Played the game, jumped in, experienced it. I'm 50 hours in. I beat the story, and I have to say it is now in the category of one of my favorite first-person player games. And I don't play a lot of FPS games, so don't think I'm like, oh no. No. I don't play a lot of FPS games. But the few that I play, I try to be very selective and very picky. And this game is now in there. Even though I'll tell you that there's like a huge piece. If this game was a whole cake, there's a huge piece of it that I do not like. Story based. In that story aspect, there's this huge, weirdness that goes on within the story. And the character, you almost misplace the character. But somewhere at the end, they redeem that. And that was the only saving grace, because if not, the story would have been trash after it started out really good. But that's something we'll discuss later in this video. Now, let me give you guys Far Cry from the perspective of the casual gamer. Kids are outside right now. Begged the wife, said, hey, take them to the yard so they can have a fun play day. I had some fun play day with them this morning because I'm on break. And so I was like, yeah, let me come do this video. And so I just want to give you guys a little orientation on what, Far Cry kind of means in my own world. I have played Far Cry 4. I don't have it on PC here. I had it on PlayStation back in the day. I played Far Cry 3 for just a very short period of time. Could not get past the first few hours. I don't know why. I started the game. Somehow it didn't click. For many people, they're like, what? I know. It just didn't click. If you look, I unlocked something here in December 2016, and I think I played it maybe last year or something for like another 10 minutes. Couldn't get into it. Far Cry Blood Dragon. This one's kind of old, and I was just kind of figuring out what in the world is this game. I came from Far Cry 4. That's the game that I beat, enjoyed a lot, spent time. I think I put in about 60 hours in the game, and, moved on to other games. I started playing Division, so that took all my time. And then Far Cry Primal, the world and the setting I could not get into. I just could not figure out why in the world they were speaking this language that I've never heard. I love languages. I think languages identify a people. And so I couldn't figure out what that was, and that broke my immersion. Because the reason I like Far Cry 4 was for simply the fact that they did that game in a region of the world that I actually could relate to. They made it in a fictional world called Kirat, but it's actually Nepal. When I was in college, I had a lot of friends from there. So kecha, those were things that they would try to teach us back and forth. We'll teach them how to say hello in, some Nigerian dialects. I'll teach my Nepali friends would teach me how to say hello in some words. And so for me, I thought this is a game set in that world. I'm diving right in. And so for me, that's kind of how I, started out my own connection with Far Cry. So when it came down to Far Cry 6, this one made sense. Because I like Latin culture. I don't know. Some people always say, some people were telling me the first time they saw me on video, they said they always thought I was, Latino, or I was Puerto Rican, or I was like, Hispanic of some kind. But no, I'm African by, origin. But I do like Latino culture. I love cultures. I guess that's it. I'll tell you, I love every culture, that's different from mine. I want to learn. So that's what it is. So for me, getting in here was like, oh my gosh, this is set in Cuba. I'm going to kind of, figure out what this is about. Now, this is not a representation of Cuba. Don't get me wrong. I apologize to my Cubans. I mean, this is a fictional version. I'm not saying that this is going to, give me all the orientation that I need. No, God forbid. This is not it. But I'm just saying it's nice to play a game in that setting. So spent the 50 hours, knocked out this game. And, I'm now at Insurgency where, enemies will start taking over regions of the map. So this is an end game type deal where you can get back in the game and not feel bored because you've done everything. Instead, weekly, these things are going to be happening. Now in the Division, this actually was done. It's called Invaded. This is an invaded, type of, this light is just basically making my shirt, it's making my, just my shirt bright. But this is something that, you can go in the map and continue to take on, bad guys over and over and over again. And this provides kind of a replay for a PvE game. And so I'm here already, and, the way I completed the game, my character is actually still pretty beast, in a sense. I mean, if I go through the map, sure, I'm seeing all of these people But the insurgency and all, it doesn't seem like they're gonna really bother me much. Like, sure, I'm gonna go in there and I'm gonna one tap everybody once it comes down to it, because after finishing the map, everything kind of leveled up. But because of my rank, it doesn't seem like everybody is like stronger than I am, because my character is pretty ranked up. I think I was at rank 15 when I beat the game, and I think rank 14. Isn't that the max rank? I can't remember. Doesn't even bother me. I don't even care. And so this particular game, I want to judge from the open world and progression and all these other things. So you start out here, and the world looks very reminiscent of people who tell me that they play Far Cry 2 and they thought it was, a very solid game, because this is a kind of an island type setting. And I did enjoy the way the world was. I enjoyed the way you could actually traverse the world. I enjoyed things like the airdrop system. The airdrop system is very cool, because basically you just airdrop into a place. I'm going to use my controller because I cannot airdrop with mouse and keyboard. I start, tilting everywhere. So traversing the big world of Far Cry is definitely something that really does help the game flow better, because now, as you start to take the time to unlock different spots on the map, which is something that many people don't know you do in a Far Cry game, is you pretty much go around and start unlocking stuff, unlocking places that you can fast travel to, because it's a big world. And so having something like this where you could just airdrop into a region that is not necessarily occupied by, gunships, basically air tracking systems and gunships that can shoot you out of the sky, then you could just basically do that. And the glide system is actually pretty nice. I don't know if this was in Far Cry 4 the way it is now. I know you could actually jump, you could use a jumpsuit in a sense, but not necessarily just airdrop. If it was, I didn't know. I was just enjoying myself in the open world. So somebody tell me in the comment section if that was. And once you learn how to be really good at it, you eventually start doing some daredevil crap where you could just basically just land. So that's it. This is not some wingsuit Red Bull sport thing, so it doesn't necessarily have all of the intricacies of you doing that. I think Riders Republic, there'll be wingsuit things where you can fly around. I think that world is where we can explore stuff like that. And so traversing around the open world was actually pretty fun, pretty good. And another thing too, and another YouTube colleague of mine, Kamikaze Von Doom, mentioned this, and I thought, yeah, that's actually pretty accurate, is when you're running around the open world, you have a stamina system. Now, it gets really tiresome when you're running and you run out of stamina. And so the developers skillfully put in something that allows for you to traverse the open world very easily. It's called the parkour gear set, and you actually get it very easily. You don't have to do too much work, to get this gear set, because this gear set basically allows for you to be able to move around the world very fast. I'm looking for, where's my parkour stuff? Where are you? I didn't have it on before the beginning of the video, but revolutionary pants. This is a gear set that you get at the end of the game. Oh, there it is, parkour shorts. And so you can equip the whole set, and the whole set's just basically about moving and sliding and giving you better stamina. And so you're almost never tired in a sense, You just continue to go from place to place to place to place. So when you're running, it's not really a big deal. And so traversal and open world movement, all that stuff is done very well. You're not, you don't find yourself in a problematic place. As long as you just keep sliding, your movement speed is just going to keep increasing with this gear set. You just keep going. Just imagine how fast you can just keep running. So any other gear set that you're wearing, though, this is going to be a problem. You're not going to be able to just run around doing this. So take that in mind. But you can get this gear set very easily. No problem. Okay, oh, this guy's been toasted. Oh my gosh, they toasted him fast. Okay, and then also your weapon, the weapon that you have on you is also going to influence the running speed as well. So if you have an assault rifle, or if you have, like, say, a freaking grenade launcher, you're going to feel the weight of that. If you have your sidearm, then, you get a little bit more movement speed. So the systems have been in Far Cry, no problem, right? Now, you may wonder, like, why are you showing us all this basic stuff? Well, here's the thing. If you have an open world that is super massive and you don't want your players to get bored from all kinds of random tasks going around, it makes sense that you help them be able to traverse the world very fast. Gamers, we're changing. We don't have enough time to do all that grinding, except we really want to. And this is a game for a casual player. That's all it is. Far Cry is a casual game. And so I think doing that was something that was very masterful, that they did in such a good way that allows for you to move around the world. So that's that. That's a 10-10 moving around the world. The next thing is player power and your equipment and your weapons. You get very strong in this game very fast if you really want to put the time in. And so to me, that's what makes a Far Cry game a Far Cry game. You go in there and you melt everybody if you can. Now, the difficulty modes are only 2 difficulty modes. Some people argue against, about or for this. There's a story mode and then there's the action mode. And this just makes enemies tougher. They take, basically more damage to destroy them. This makes them sight you faster and then they can hit you with pinpoint accuracy. I guess it's the way they wanted to do their difficulty. Ideally, I would say they could have done more in the difficulty leveling, but from a game development perspective, the amount of work you put into a game like this is already a lot. So what you just do is basically allow for the world to set the difficulty context. So when I mean the difficulty context is basically different areas of the world as you're progressing will have more stronger enemies, and when you're able to conquer them, then and level up, then you basically just have that area. But once you encounter them, you understand that they're much more difficult to deal with. They call back up very fast. So the world is doing the difficulty setting rather than having the difficulty setting being done here in the game. So that's another thing that you probably need to understand. And I thought that was decent. So if you ask me how I rate that system, I rate that system probably, if you say good, better, best, I'll say better. So, in the middle there, or, it could be better. It could be in the best possible form if they did different categories and then allowed for you to be able to have that experience also scale with the world. But I think just putting one difficult category, saying this is action mode, you're dead if you mess up, and then letting the world do it is also a decent way of doing it. I'm not a game developer, so maybe that was the best possible decision that they could make. But I think if you were to rate it in that scale, it's a good system. I mean, it's better than most systems, if you were to ask me. And then when you look at your player power and how that relates to everything, you have what's called your regular weapons and you have your unique weapons. Now, these unique weapons are placed all over the world. Some of them you get from doing missions. Some of them you get from doing specific tasks, manhunts, treasure hunts. Sorry, did I say manhunts? I'm sorry. Division speak is creeping in. And some of them, they're actually very, very good. What they do is they help you bypass what it takes to actually do the modding in this game. Now, to mod your weapon in this game is to make that weapon just, insane. You just make it much stronger. I thought I got a SPAS 12. Well, I don't have a SPAS 12. Well, whatever. So let me go in and see my rifles. This is where I have a bunch of weapons already set up. So here I have a... let's use this particular weapon. So this is the SSGP 58, right? Or no, let's use this one. Let's use the... Nope. Let's use the AS Val. This is the AS Val. It comes with, these mod slots. Basically, I can do armor-piercing rounds. I can hit heavy enemies that are much stronger or much more armored, and I can tap them with one headshot. They're done. Or I can break through their armor with very minimal amounts of bullets, right? And then I have all these other things here, and then I have a reload speed thing, and then I also have a mod that gives me headshot Supremo. So it cools my Supremo weapon, which is basically my, overpowered. This is what Supremo is. So it has a cooldown on the bottom right corner of the screen, and so I can pretty much get this to cool down as I'm landing headshots. Now here's the thing with these with the named weapon, the named version or the unique versions of these, is they come already modded for you. Now this really changes the game because many of these unique weapons, you don't have to do much to get them. They're sitting around the open world. So you as a player, if you're dealing with your your base weapons and stuff, and where one of these unique weapons are, especially the unique weapons that come in many cases modded with suppressors, which you can probably benefit from if you're playing a much more difficult mode, you can just pretty much go there and just go pick them up. Like, no one will stop you. Now, yeah, you got to traverse the open world in many cases, but enemy NPCs don't saturate the open world. You see, from a game development perspective, and this is the game developer side, you can't saturate all of the map with bad guys. There's just more stuff there. Game's not going to load properly. You're going to have issues. So this is what we Far Cry players will take advantage of. We'll just run around, and that's where fun comes into place because it doesn't take you long to be powerful. So a weapon like this, the hi-fi, you can get pretty easily. In the SMG side, a weapon called a DIY Death, This is a submachine gun that's sitting in a garage. You don't even have to fight anybody to get it, as long as you can make your way there as quietly as possible. And this weapon is actually very, very, strong. Now, a weapon like this called the Streamline Moderne, this one you have to take out a base, but it's also a really strong weapon as well. And then this one called the Turn of the Century is in a side mission. Very powerful weapons, by the way. In fact, the DIY Death and the Turn of the Century, they're both modded with poison rounds. Now, poison rounds are just absolutely broken. Let me show you how they're broken. Let's go take on some stupid... This is the checkpoint. Can I fast travel here? I can't. Okay, I can go here. This is a station. All right, let's airdrop. We can airdrop in here. Dang it. Let's airdrop in here. We can't. What? Oh, it says we're in combat. We're not in combat because I shot my Streamline Moderne thingy. It's okay. Let's make our way there. Just be patient with me. I'll probably clip this part out of the video, all the journey there, and then we'll just get there. All right, guys. So I gave up and went and got a chopper from one of my bases that I spawned. And this is one of the cool things about Traversal around the map is if you've spawned in a spot, like, if you've taken over a base that has the capability to have airbound vehicles, you could just go spawn one. And if you've delivered some airbound vehicles there, you can just spawn from the menu of whichever one you want. Now, even where I'm going here, there's still some security here in the air. And so I've had to fly around this. I think I had to fly around. No, it was this one. I had to fly around this one. And in order for me to be able to just kind of get past this is an anti-aircraft site. And this will gun you down. So these are all over the map unless you go there and physically destroy these guns, which is not hard to do. Just takes I think just a little bottle of Molotov sometimes will destroy some of them. And then I'm gonna make my way to the base. And this mission should be a little much more difficult, but I wanted to show you guys the power of your guns in terms of the way the game plays. So let's go ahead and change the... Oh, I'm going to the store. Yuck. Options, gameplay, and it's on action mode, which is the higher difficulty. And so this is supposed to be much more difficult. So even if they toast me, that's fine. I still want to make sure that I show you how powerful your weapons actually can be in this iteration, of Far Cry. Now, every iteration, your weapons are strong, but you have some really over-the-top weapons, in my mind anyways. And you can get some of these weapons very early in the game by just walking up and picking them up. You don't have to do anything. So it's quite interesting just to see how all of this stuff is worked. Let me park somewhere where they're not going to necessarily see me. See if I can get in there without any drama. Did I say park? Land. I know the pilots there, they were like, ugh, did you just say park?
Hola. I'm looking at a satellite station on top of a plateau. Anyone scouted this place?
That's the military spy station.
Spy station?
See, they use it to eavesdrop on the local farmers to find dissidents.
So there'll be bad guys here already. Camera, an engineer. And you have a cell phone that has some of the best zoom in the world. And all of this stuff. I don't know if you have a computer. Sometimes you can get a computer system. Oh, there we go. There's a bad guy. I didn't even see him. Okay, so let me show you how powerful some of our weapons are. This is my favorite. This is an assault rifle, but it has the capabilities of a marksman rifle. Headshot. Where's that engineer up there? I can probably take him, but I don't want to risk it and then go sound the alarm. But I need to destroy this alarm at least first. Just an alarm system and a camera.
Adios, reinforcements.
Now I can take this fool out. He's coming back here. Oh, there we go. And that's it. I'm playing on the hardest difficulty, and I can just hit headshots that really do work. And that's the beauty of, having the weapons that are capable of doing those things in the game.
Engineers better watch my step.
Oh, they've seen me. Okay, now that they've seen me, I switch out to this weapon. Now I start poisoning everybody, and watch what just happens. They give up on life. They're stupefied. Is there another alarm here? He's poisoned. I'm not even bothering to do much. I have them already poisoned, and they're all gonna die. Now, they're gonna make life hard for me, that's for sure, but... That's the boss of this place. That's the sniper. Where's the alarm? This destroys armored rounds, so... Boss, you're dead, man. Just die. Ooh, they hit hard, man. On action mode, they hit very hard. There. Hold my missiles. Oh, look how many choppers are coming. I'm gonna hide in the building for a bit. Oh. Yo, take a gun, man. Join me. That guy's coming for me. He's poisoned. He's a flamethrower. Ooh, heal. That's the difference. It just hit really hard, but once I'm able to get him, he's poisoned. That guy hit me with flames. Just stay indoors. That's basically what it is. Just hide inside. This dude is probably gonna get killed, but he would have played his part. He's a pawn. Look at him, get him poisoned and dead. Now, if you ask me what happened to all the other bad guys, I killed them. Get up, son. It's not time to die yet. Shoot. Heal. And it makes it slightly difficult as well. So my if I hit headshots, if I kill this guy with a headshot, I'm gonna get my Supremo charged. Sorry, I cannot talk and play, but you get to watch me in action. Reload. There's one more bad guy there. And when my Supremo is charged, I don't want to chase him. If I chase him, I'm going to be exposed to the chopper. So I'm just trying to be wise, because I don't want to record another video where I don't die. Oh, there you are. Did I get I got a Supremo charge. Not Supremo's charge. I can take on this chopper. Where you at? Come on. Where is the chopper? You want to make sure they're inside. There you go. There it is. And just like that, even on the hardest difficulty, you can run and gun. If I put on a more tankier build, that's another thing too. I was wearing just the parkour, armor, so that doesn't really serve you in terms of taking damage. So I could have basically gone in, and I could have basically equipped something that gives me a little bit of resistance to rounds and all that stuff. Let's check the hoodies and the chest pieces and the gear. So you have there's one here, armor piercing protection, the rider vest. So if you wear this, if I equip the whole set, I'm a lot more tanky in the way that I run. There are some sets that will give you health regen. There's some sets that will do some really cool stuff. So that's what I really like about Far Cry. Now, a lot of people don't necessarily like the gear side of things. I mean, I saw some people say, man, we lost the skill tree. And yes, we did lose the skill tree from Far Cry 4. But as a Division agent, as somebody who loves to run around and loot and shoot, I'm 500 of those credits. Oh, I'm about to farm. I'm about to be rich. Shoot. This is the first insurgency mission that I'm doing. So you take this part of the game. This is just one part of the game. And you tune that part of the game and say, how do I want to approach every single mission? How do I want to approach every single base? And you're able to just play and have fun with the weapons and all. Now, this particular weapon, I bought it for like 2,000 pesos. And that's another thing. Pesos are easy to come by. So resources are actually quite easy to come by. And you don't feel like you have to farm excessively much to be able to purchase items. And that's another thing I really did like about the game. So this is a Juan's Arms Dealer vendor. and they sell some specific reservoir weapons, and then they also sell some items that I could use as well. Some pieces that you can pick up, you can pick them up from just open chests around the world. You don't have to buy anything if you don't want to. If you want to hardcore farm everything, you can look for the Libertad chests. Libertad is your own faction, and you can find those and open them, or you can just run around and get a reward or something if you do some treasure hunts. So this is a treasure hunt, and it has a reward for XP and also a question mark, meaning there's probably an item that comes with it. So I'm going to go ahead and look at the vendor. I like actually just buying stuff, honestly, because, you have a lot of these credits. I already have 12,000 pesos. Last time I looked, I had only like 3,000. So I've probably been working really hard. So this allows for me to improve soft target round defense. So enemies that are not hitting me with really heavy armor, I can also tank them really easily. This is a first aid based set. That's actually pretty cool. This is a chameleon. Slow down detection speed without affecting soldier suspicion. So I can basically buy this if I want to do some stealth gameplay. This is definitely going to help me and stuff like that. Now I could also farm these, like I said, so I'm probably not going to buy anything here. I thought he had some weapons that I could purchase, but there are none. So from a weapon side, player power, leveling up perspective, this game is a solid game. I don't care if they repeated the formula. If they repeat this formula every single time, I'll take it. To be honest, I'll take it for the price point that it is. I'll take it for $60, no problem. Some people may take it for $20, no problem. $5, no problem. Just wait. That's everybody has the price that they're willing to pay for the game that they're wanting to play. So this is some of the stuff that I recommend. Now, finally, when it comes to story, we could talk about other things like the base of operations, leveling up, doing bandidos missions, all of those things. I guess we could talk about that from time to time too. But when it comes down to the story aspect of things, the game starts out pretty well for a story, but there is a missing piece of the plot. You see, this protagonist is not like Ajay of Far Cry 4 or the protagonist of Far Cry 3. So Ajay had something very unique to him. He starts out as a nobody, a noob, probably has never held a gun in his life. And so he is, of the mind that he doesn't know what he's doing. So a lot of what he does, he grows into that position. Now, I also understand that your character here, Danny, she starts out as a former, military trained person. She was in the army. So already she starts out and she's already a beast, already a monster. She can handle a weapon. She can do everything. She can fight like a guerrilla. Everybody thinks she's amazing already. So what I felt the writers should have done was find a way to kind of make her the underdog. Even in a much more better sense. They tried to do it in one place. In this particular base camp that I'm in right now, when you first come here, the leader of the base camp really does make you feel like you're nothing, makes you feel like you're trash. But they then go ahead and try to balance it out with his daughter, who makes you feel like you're cool and all that. No, I feel like you should be a freaking noob when you start out. You should have no respect from almost everybody if possible, but everybody already loves you, and so that kind of takes away a little bit from it if you were to get me. Or if you go straight to the beginning, they've shown this in gameplay where the first revolution leader that you meet, she kind of thinks you're a nobody, but they don't really sell it too well in the sense that the character can actually have a very good arc. So that progression didn't start low enough for me. It started somewhere like here, and then they just basically become awesome and amazing. And I think that's a mistake I wouldn't say a mistake, that's a place for improvements when they're writing, say, the next Far Cry game. This is something they need to, basically do. So these are missions where you just basically command bandidos and just try to, get some money as reward. And I've not been using the right leaders, so it's been really hard for me. So what these are like RPG strategy type things where you just send your bandit leaders into a mission that you don't see, that they just basically tell you. And we do it just to farm credits, basically. So let's do this. This is going to give me 990 credits. So, yep. So after I'm done with it, I go ahead and claim my rewards, and I get basically almost 1,000 pesos for doing this. That's all. I don't really even need to do anything. So it's a nice way to farm credits. It's a nice way to be able to get resources. So that's another thing about the game. Getting credits and resources don't make you feel like, oh, I got to grind too much. It's not a grindy game at all, and that's very good. And so in that story aspect, that's where I say there was a need for improvement. But then the story gets better. And then eventually the story starts to diminish because there are all kinds of different social, political agendas that are kind of mixed in here that almost pollute the game. This is already a solid character. There's no need. This is a character that probably checks off whichever boxes you want to check off. And so there was no need for a lot of the different tropes that we started to see in the game. But at the end, I felt like they redeemed this character because this character is more of a compassionate character than anything else. As much as they may be a beast, they did have a lot of compassion, which is one of the reasons I did enjoy the game and say, okay, you guys redeemed it, but hopefully you don't sandwich a lot of good aspects of your story writing with those things that are just unnecessary. And, Ubisoft has such a wonderful opportunity, and many times they miss, but they delivered this game even when all these other studios and all these other publishers are having issues delivering their games and delaying their games. And yes, they tapped 12 studios for it, but that's their power. They just use multiple studios to deliver all these huge AAA games. So Far Cry 6 to me is, in my mind, probably one of the most important games of 2021 because this is what we got. Not saying that it's probably better than any other game that could have come out in 2021. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying this is what we got in 2021. Unless the dance game is going to beat Far Cry 6, then sure. Or is there any other game you know about that's going to be coming? Maybe Battlefield, but those are games that are geared towards different audiences. Maybe Call of Duty. They're not in the same category as Far Cry. They don't have all those things. Here in Far Cry, you have your base where you can actually go in and do all kinds of stuff and get stronger. You can build different facilities that would allow for your, for you as a player to be, to be better and traverse the world. Here you can buy maps of checkpoints across the world. I just paid for all of them, bought them all, and I could just open my map. And, these little hideouts, I can just fast travel there. If I need to reach a region that, I don't have any resources in, I could just fast travel there. That basically is a smart design to cut out the open world and cut out all the monotony that can be in a Far Cry game. So this Far Cry game can be summed up in one word: fun. You have fun playing. You don't have anything to worry about. You just keep playing and playing the game. And for those people who are still, people who are going to play more than 50 hours, and I can guarantee you, many of them will tell you they've been hooked. They just, keep playing the game. And that's how it was for me. I just kept saying, you know what? I just want to keep playing the game because I feel like the game has been enjoyable so far. And that's what you want from a Far Cry game, and that's what they got. Story, all the other fun stuff, those are just all seasoning. You got to get the base recipe proper, and they did that here. Now, like I said, the other things, they probably may be in a place where the story, to me, they were flavoring everything well, and then once they started throwing in some random different flavors in there, I was like, what are you doing? You're making this dish, and right now is not the time for you to put cinnamon here. Maybe you should have put cinnamon in your marinade when you started, but, let's not go into the chef history of my life, but that's how I see this Far Cry game. But that's pretty much my, impressions after 50 hours. It's a solid game. If you want to purchase it now, I would say no problem. I got a free copy from Ubisoft, so that's my disclaimer. Nonetheless, I would say do whatever you want. If you don't want to buy it, don't buy it. That's your business. I'm not saying go buy the game. If you want to buy it for $5, hey, even better. You're gonna gain $60 worth. Actually, you're gonna gain more than $60 worth of game for the price that you pay. So it depends on what it is that you want to achieve from this. So personally, I've been talking to some of my other gamer friends, and many of them have said, I don't know if I want to pay $60 for this game. And here's my personal opinion to them. I'll give it to you as well. I've told them, I've said, just wait. Wait for a sale. Or if you can get a free code, go ahead and do that as well. Because, one of the things about these video games is they usually go on sale during the holiday period. Very soon, I think this game is probably going to get a slight discounts, just something to just shave off a little bit of the price point and change the numbers. And some people will go ahead and buy, and then deeper down the holiday and then towards January, you're going to be seeing, price slashes. If that's what you want to wait for, hey, that's also pretty fine as well. Ubisoft, their job is to make the money regardless. So if you buy it at $2 or $200 for the Ultimate Edition or whatever, that's also something that, they're still going to make money from. And then we're looking forward to endgame content as well as post-release content. So there's going to be a season pass that's going to be released very soon. And I'm also looking forward to that. If you guys don't know, there's a season pass thing where you can actually come and play you can play as the other bosses from 3 of the past Far Cry games. You can play as the guy, Joseph Steed or whatever it is from Far Cry 5. And you can play from Pagan from Far Cry 4 and then also Voss from Far Cry 3. Now, I'll try my best to play Far Cry 3. I've heard it's a really good game, and I also try to play Far Cry 5. I have them all. I have these Far Cry games, and I'll try my best to play them just to do justice and just give them another shake. If I can't get into them, then that's over. But anyways, I'll sign out now. Thank you guys for engaging me. I appreciate you guys so much. Hopefully we'll talk in another video. Let me hear your thoughts in the comment section. Peace out.